Hi, I'm Josh Keegan, and welcome to the Space Down Under Live. Yes, I'm doing this live all over again. It's been a while. I'm now back on the air. I've gone through and retooled a few things. I just want to know, I'm good. How are you? Welcome to the Space Down Under Live. I'm back on being live. I took my hiatus. I retooled a few things. You may notice that the Space Down Under is now actually its own separate individual YouTube channel. There is also a Twitter account, so you can follow along there. But yes, I am now actually all completely separate and out in it. So in this episode of the Space Down Under Space Down Under Live, I will be joined by Jackie Carpenter from One Giant Leap Australia. Jackie Carpenter is one of the founders of One Giant Leap Australia, and I found out all about the magnificent work she is doing for the students based across Australia to get them excited about careers in STEM, and not only in STEM, but in the Australian space industry. Last time we caught up, Jackie was letting us know all about the 2020 Dubai Expo, where she would be running Connecting Minds, an activity connecting girls internationally from Australia and the United Arab Emirates. A lot has happened since this time, and she has been very, very busy. Remember, the chat screen is open, so that's just there, where you can actually join the chat and you can actually ask some questions of myself and Jackie, and you can ask them directly. So now's the time to grab a cup of coffee, or at least your favorite beverage, and let's get started. Get settled. It's going to be a long one. Again, it's live, it's all that sort of stuff, so it's a lot of fun. Welcome, Jackie, to the new Space Down Under Live. It's great to have you back. What have you been doing, and what have you been up to? We're about to get into that, but this is what the chat is all about. So just remember, guys, that the chat window is open, so you get a chance to ask your questions, and I'll be keeping an eye on the window as we go. So that way we'll get to flick backwards and forwards through those actual screens, so you guys actually get to ask your questions as we go. So, Jackie, over
Yes.
to you. How are you?
Oh, well, back from Dubai, that was the best time, honestly. A month in Dubai, hanging out with the Governor General, and absolutely amazing. The Australian Pavilion was incredible. The people there were amazing and so supportive of what we were doing. And it honestly exceeded everybody's expectations. The Connecting Minds project is now, we have mission one starting in August this year. So we kicked it off by having it, the big showcase in the expo in Dubai. And I can honestly tell you it was an amazing place. I was so proud to be Australian. We were there for our National Day, which is not Australia Day. They called it the National Day. And we were there with all the dignitaries and celebrating the Indigenous parts of our country with Mitch Tambo doing You're the Voice. It was just brilliant. I can't tell you. I was crying. Like, I went there 7 days and I was crying all the time. And not because I was sad, but because it was just mind-blowing.
It wasn't because of the dust storms or anything like that, sand blowing in the eyes, none of
or
that sort of stuff?
lack of food, or I was thirsty. It was more like lack of sleep, I think.
Yeah, I get that.
Yeah, because we ended up with the Governor General in a vice-regal visit to the Mohammed bin Rashid Space Centre. That was not planned. That was not on our itinerary. But we did preempt the whole thing by becoming a grain exporter and taking 100 golden wattle seeds to Dubai. As you know,
Yep.
we put the wattle seeds on board the space station. So we thought we were going to try and get to the Mohammed bin Rashid Space Centre and give them the golden wattle seeds. And the Governor General was looking for to go there. So we thought, well, why not? So we got the Governor General to present the golden wattle seeds to the Mohammed bin Rashid Space Centre. Okay. So we ended up sitting next to the Governor General and his wife in this huge meeting. And I'm just going like, how did we end up here? Like, do you know what I mean? One of those moments, because you see the chairs and you think, oh, they can't possibly be ours. They've got to be for someone else. Yep. Oh, Mr. Carpenter over here. It's like, seriously? Anyway, so we ended up they put the wattle seeds in resin, and they were scared that they would grow in the frame. And I just said, no, they're probably upset that they were set in resin. So the first thing they said was, wish we had some to grow. So then luckily I had more. So the Mohammed bin Rashid Space Centre in Dubai is going to be growing the Australian space wattle seeds.
Oh wow, that's amazing. Well, hang on, sorry, I've just done myself a little bit of a disservice. I've just turned my audio. There's been a couple of complaints in the chat window, just to prepare you here, Jackie. That and I'll just
yeah.
Yeah, so apologise for the interruption there, but yeah,
That's
who's
okay.
that?
So this, can you believe this? This is our Australian mascot. How cute.
Wow.
And guess what its name is?
No idea.
Waddle. It was
how
bizarre.
perfect.
So when we were in the when we were in the expo in the Australian Pavilion, Wattle turned up, and we're in the Wattle room, and we had the golden wattles in space. It was just madness. So we really, truly, I can't tell you, it's one of those times in your life that you know you'll never ever forget it as long as you live. And I will never ever forget that whole experience. And so now, sneaky little thing, we're trying to aim for Expo in Osaka,
nice,
in Japan in 2025.
Nice, well done.
It's good. I have some kind of ideas, because we work with JAXA.
Yep.
Imagine, put your thinking hat on about what cool things could we do with JAXA and Australia and showcase that.
I've got several ideas. I could do, but this needs to happen in a timely fashion. Otherwise, we'd be here all evening chatting. Because the alternative here in Australia is to actually go out and watch the live election results, because we've got a federal election here in Australia for those people who are watching or tuning in from overseas, and that's going to be like watching paint dry. This is slightly more exciting, just slightly more exciting. So just quickly, Jackie.
We then went to Colorado after that.
Oh yeah, no. Just coming back to Connecting Minds before we get to the next section. So, can you just remind everyone what Connecting Minds was all about?
Right. So, Connecting Minds project, I had this crazy idea of linking kids in Australia with kids in the UAE, and I wanted to take the kids from Australia to Expo. And because of COVID, that couldn't happen. But the idea, they love the idea. So, the Council for Australian Arab Relations supported us with some funding, and the Australian Pavilion supported us, and the Australian government. So what we did was we linked 5 New South Wales schools with 5 schools in Dubai, and it was small groups of girls, and they did space STEM projects. So we had 10 schools, 5 projects, and they were year 3 and 4 kids from Albury connected with year 11 kids in Westminster School. So, and they came up with their own projects, and then we showcased those projects. So on our YouTube channel, you'll find all the videos that the kids did to present, because 3 days before we got to Dubai, the kids couldn't do field trips in the UAE. So we had to make the whole thing virtual, like at the drop of a hat, which we did do. And, but it was awesome because all the parents were proud. All the teachers were proud. The kids were like beside themselves. They just thought it was the best thing ever. And they learned about each other's cultures. So it was funny, if you watch the videos, one of the teachers said our first call was supposed to be half an hour, and it went for an hour and a half.
Wow.
And the kids said things like, we heard that, have you seen a kangaroo? And all the kids from Albury going, yeah, all the time. And then they go, and then they go, do you know about the Burj Khalifa, the biggest building? No. Ooh. And then we heard you have spiders. Yeah, said the kids, redbacks, And so,
one of the most deadly spiders in the world. Oh, yeah, we've got redbacks. It's all okay.
But the cool thing was, honestly, the videos were put together. We couldn't have scripted it any better. The year 11 girl from Dubai said, we gave each other constructive criticisms and made our projects better. And they listened to year 3, 4 kids to improve their projects. And the whole thing, the teachers collaborating across the world, the kids talking to each other and learning about culture, tolerance, diversity. That's where the innovation comes in.
Correct.
And we didn't have an idea of what would happen. We just let it happen. And one of the groups did a whole thing on carbon sinking rocket launching.
Wow.
Like well above my pay grade, have no idea. But here they were, this amazing research at nearly university level plus. And they're very serious about how we can look at the sustainability of rocket launching. Everything from that to growing fungus to stop radiation, the design of Mars colonies, how to take pets to space.
Wow.
What if we take cows and chickens and how we're going to feed them, habitats, all this stuff. So it's all there on our YouTube channel, The Connecting Minds. So if any teachers are listening, there's some great ideas there for you, all about the design process and stuff. And the same schools are all signed up, ready to go again, plus more.
Nice. Oh, excellent. All right. So what I'll do is, this is probably just a nice little segue into the retrospective that I actually managed to download from your website. So we'll get into that right now, just to actually show exactly what the results of the Dubai Expo and Connecting Minds project was all about.
Excited to be doing the Connecting Minds project, and it's really fun because I love learning about Mars.
I'm really excited to join you today. It's always great to connect with the future, not just of our nation but the planet. And I give kudos to One Giant Leap, led by Jackie. Jackie, it's lovely to see you.
I heard Australia has a lot of insects like spiders. Is that true?
Yes! I'm very, very happy to be working with you all because you're all so smart and clever and kind.
Teamwork and collaboration and design is something that I know that I'm going to be in touch with in the future, and I feel like this gave me a good segue into that kind of stuff.
Gave us a good insight into not only just engineering but also like quite a lot of chemistry and earth and environmental science and aerospace science, so I think that would help.
So now I want to aid in a project which will actually help people research more about the Martian environment so we can actually colonize the area.
I've enjoyed most probably making all of the prototypes.
I just wanted to say welcome to the Australian Pavilion. It's fantastic to see you here, and I know we're beaming into lounge rooms and offices and all sorts of places across the world, and I think that's absolutely fantastic. I just want to thank you all for your energy and your enthusiasm.
From students working hard, parents behind the scenes, students going to school early, students meeting on weekends, teachers talking to teachers, and they created their own projects. And that's the beauty of the Connecting Minds project.
I think that the future is very, very safe. All of you are just an inspiration. Thank you.
I'm really excited to start the Connecting Minds project because this is a great opportunity for us. We turn dreams into realities!
Yep. But then can I just say that Enrico Palermo spent 45 minutes online talking to all 10 schools. And truly, this is what it's about. Like, space industry is about the workforce of the future. It is about everyone supporting each other. And Enrico really believes in, and like I do, that we have to work together. So for him to have the audience of all the girls and all the schools, I was just so happy. I thought we could get 10 minutes with Enrico because he's such a busy person, and he spent 45 minutes answering questions to kids. So when we're planning the next mission in August to December, we have 8 speakers lined up already, all space industry professionals ready to just go, yeah, I would love to talk to all the students. So, you know, I can't tell you the impact it's had. Just on the teachers I know that have worked so hard, they put their hands up right at the end of school to do a new project. But I do know they've got friends for life, and the kids have made friends for life.
Yeah, absolutely.
Great.
Yeah, and it's just an absolutely great thing to see, and you know, the fact that I'm talking to you and you organised all this, and yeah, it's just absolutely fabulous to see. So look, I'm just going to check the comments and everything like that at the moment. So oh, hang on, apparently I was on mute. Okay, sorry guys, apparently I was on mute yet again. Sorry. So when I was off air for a little while, in terms of retooling the Space Down Under, I also changed all my audio interface and all that sort of stuff so I could get better sound and you guys could hear me better and all that sort of stuff. Yeah, I'm still working out the kinks of this new audio interface. So yeah, unfortunately, yeah, I keep accidentally unmuting myself. So some of the comments that have been made, especially by Jim McClelland, he's actually said, you know, Lonely Interstellar, how to take pets to space. Jackie Carpenter, 2022. And then, you know, the clip is so inspiring. What better way can be more collaborating and working together for science? I mean, yeah, absolutely. Lonely Interstellar says that as well. Apart from the other comments of, you know, me being on mute, there was also, Jim has actually said, great to see the people of the future getting to know each other and learn about a world outside their own. Kudos to Jackie and the team. Connecting Minds Project is a hashtag. So yeah, well done you. And this is the thing, is you told me about this and you were going to go, and now you've gone and done it. So wow, well done.
And you know what's great? That the kids are from all over the place. They're from rural and regional New South Wales. We love providing opportunities to kids outside the city. And then you've got the opposite. You've got the kids in Dubai who really have heard about Australia, and we have the iconic things, but then they can turn around and say, we actually work with students from Australia. So, and the whole thing just wrapped up. It was just brilliant. And I just know this is the way we have to go in education. We can't put limits. We can't. True STEM and true space stuff is around trying to find solutions for problems, but not leading them down the garden path that everyone comes up with the same solution, right? It's just really boring. We're not giving the kids any kind of credit for their thinking. We need thinking, creative thinking, critical thinking. And if we turn around and we tell everyone that you have to use this resource to make this thing, we're just going to end up with 30 of the same things in a classroom. So the beauty of the Connecting Minds project is each teacher knows the needs of their students and their community. They know what resources they have. They go to an agreement on how long they will spend on the project, when they're available, and then they start talking to each other in the times that work for them, early morning, late afternoon, whatever it is. But if one school doesn't have a robotics kit and another one has 3D printers, but the other school might have something different, they go, well, we've got this, and they go, well, we've got that. So, okay, let's try and make these two things happen so that the kids benefit.
Yeah,
because it's always around the center of the kids. And if you watch the videos, you'll hear that the year 3-4 girls had never touched spheros or done programming before. And here they were trying to program these spheros to move a Mars colony all over the place and trying to program. And it actually brings joy to your heart, because the kids go, we have learned that we have to, you know, if there's a problem, we can ask for help, or we can try harder, or there is a solution. And I thought programming was really hard, but it's really easy for me now. Like these whole things, giving kids opportunities and experiences is what One Giant Leap does. So it was funny to run around with Wattle, and it was funny to be in the room with people physically face-to-face in Dubai, but we had over 150 people online. We had everything from politicians to school principals to parents to grandparents and the kids. So truly it really kicked off something that I believe that we need, and we just have to be courageous and try it.
Yeah, correct. Absolutely, without a doubt. And that's what you do. And which is why, we talk so often and so frequently and all that sort of stuff, is just because I'm just inspired by the fact that you do these things, and, you just do things that are untried and untested, and just give it a shot and see what happens. Jim Cleland actually says, asks a question, where can we find more information about Connecting Minds project on social media, please?
Okay, so we have One Giant Leap Australia Foundation website. Just go to current projects and you'll find Connecting Minds there. And you'll also find on One Giant Leap Australia, which is our other website, you'll find Connecting Minds on there. But you can also follow our YouTube channel and you see all the videos there.
And by the way, Jim, I've actually placed all the links underneath this in the comments in the chat and all that sort of stuff, so you can go through and actually see exactly what's coming up with One Giant Leap and One Giant Leap Foundation, One Giant Leap Australia and One Giant Leap Foundation Australia Foundation. Yeah. One of those.
Yeah, but we too have our podcast, One Giant Leap Radio, and you can follow along with that. We've got 3 episodes of a thing called the Moon Symphonies, which has been created in London right now and being recorded in Abbey Studios. And that was part of when we went to Dubai. We met the lady who was creating the Moon Symphonies. So that's an amazing program as well, and that's going to link into stuff that we're doing in the future. So
that's awesome.
Yeah, it's great.
That's
fun.
Awesome. So I've got to ask you the next question, which is, and this is something that happened not long after the 37th Space Symposium in Colorado in the United States. Excuse me, who are you photographed with?
Oh, well, that could potentially be Robert Lightfoot.
Not potentially be, it is. I zoomed right in and actually saw that's Robert.
It is Robert Lightfoot, Vice President Lockheed Martin Space. I'd just given him a couple of packets of Tim Tams, and I also put a clip-on koala on his lanyard if you have a look. So he is a great friend. You know yourself, Josh, I've been doing this stuff since 2006, 2007, and I bump into people and I just am friendly. I don't have the, I don't know, I'm not a person who knows how far it is to the moon, but I do know that if the moon's not up in the sky, we're in big trouble.
Putting it a little bit mildly, just a tad.
I don't like Robert and I met when he was he was like heading up NASA, so I met him in Sydney, and we've stayed in contact. So every time I bump into him, I'm always giving him. I have a stash of Tim Tams. I took 40 packets of Tim Tams to Colorado, and I just took a suitcase full, right? So because I also keep other friends supplied with Tim Tams. So, like my good friend today who put Starliner to the ISS, that good friend, I actually supplied Mission Control with Tim Tams. So we have a running joke. If I said to him today, "Do you need a Tim Tam?" He's gone, "Oh, yeah, I could do with one." So these are my little trade things.
I know you name dropping here, and I'm just gonna say my little speech here that I was just going to say that if anybody is following along at home, Robert Lightfoot was actually the administrator of NASA, and he served from January 2017 until April 23 to 2018. So he was there for a little bit, not a long time, but a short time, and got a lot of things done. Now, while we're dropping names, I just want you. Excuse me, I'm going to interrupt you. I'm going to stop you. I'm going to stop you entirely. What on earth? Excuse me, Sunita Williams?
Yeah, I saw Sunita.
Excuse me, how?
Well, she was just there, and I went over and said hi, and she knows Greg Chamitoff because they trained together. So then I have I was texting Greg going, look who I'm standing with. He goes, oh, say hello to Sunita for me. So then I had a texting conversation. She's telling me what to text Greg, and then he's telling me what to text back. So I was just like hanging out with Sunita. And, you know.
Yeah, so for everybody who's playing at home, Sunita Williams is actually an American astronaut who's formerly holds the record, used to hold the record for the most amount of spacewalks by a woman. So she had most amount of spacewalk time, about 50 hours and 40 minutes. So on April 18, 2022, NASA actually has said it has not been finalized which of them are actually going up to the International Space Station on the first commercial Starliner mission. So Starliner, for all those people who are playing at home, Starliner actually just was only launched in the last 48 hours to the International Space Station. It's the orbital test flight 2. The first one didn't go so well. The less we say about that, the better. But this one has actually gotten a lot better and gotten a lot further this time. So it's looking like the first actual crewed flight of the Starliner will happen soon, and there'll be Boeing Starliner 1, I think it is, or Starliner Boeing, one of the two. But yes, Sunita Williams. So just name dropping all over the place, Jackie. I mean, honestly.
Sunita, hanging out with Robert Lightfoot, but also I don't know if you know, but I also was hanging out with Shan Proctor, one of the Inspiration 4 astronauts as well. I spent some time with her. Sorry, Josh, pick your chin up. It's good, right?
Yeah, I know it's good, but it's... Do you have a photo? Do you have a photo? If you don't have a photo, it didn't happen.
I do have a photo. It's here on my phone.
Oh, no. It's fine. I believe you. I believe you
later.
Yeah, right? I believe you. I believe you.
Great. And I found out, secret squirrel business, she might be in Sydney in July. So I'm trying to kind of get a thing happening there. But anyway, secret. Don't tell anyone. Right. And so how did I end up going to the Space Symposium?
How did you go to the Space Symposium? That's the question. That's my next question. How did you get from Dubai to there?
Well, obviously by plane. But the thing was, we weren't part of the Australian trade delegation, okay, because it was a defence trade delegation. And so I had been doing some work in Dubai at night with the Space Foundation from Colorado Springs. And I was helping them deliver some teacher professional development. So for a whole week, I had to be back in my room between 7 and 9 and help run this education program with the Space Foundation. And then the following week, I had to be up at 2 in the morning till 4 in the morning to run another one that was like a couple of Wednesdays. So I'd been doing this work with the Space Foundation, and I applied to be a teacher liaison for the Space Foundation, and I was actually made the Australian teacher liaison for the Space Foundation 2022. So that meant then that I would go to Colorado Springs and hang out with all the teachers and educators to do with STEM. So Bob came along, my husband, Bob, who's also a director of One Giant Leap. So Bob and I and another person here, Joanne, who works with us. And then we have an in-country person in America called Shannon McConnell, and she's done 30 years at NASA and NASA JPL. So she's our in-country person. So the 4 of us went to Colorado Springs, and we were all invited to go to the education couple of days in Space Foundation. So Bob had to go do some corporate things, but the first day we were there, Quincy Brown, who's the STEM advisor to the White House, was there. So we spent time, she presented, and then Space Force presented, and then Shan Proctor a couple of days later was there. So, and we also did Yuri's night there as well. So we had a very different experience to most others. And we had an Airbnb, and we shared with 4 US teachers. So poor Bob had 7 women in the house, all educators, so all very loud, all excited, showing each other swag that we picked up and yabbity yabber, and had a great time. And And so now you'll see on our website, we have it in our team section, we have US Education Advisory Team of a number of teachers. I think there's 7 of them who are now our US advisory teachers. And that came out of going to the Space Foundation, and Space Foundation run the symposium. So it's massive. And it's a place where I catch up with friends. And what no one knows, and I haven't told you, Josh, but in 2008, when I was in Space Camp, I heard this guy speak, Burke Hare or William Hare, and he's part of the Space Camp Hall of Fame. And he talked about how in his role in the Air Force, he had a coin made and he would give it to people who'd done extraordinary things. And when I heard him speak, I thought, right, on my bucket list, Burke's coin. So when I met him afterwards, I said to him, I said hi, and he goes, oh, you're that Aussie woman they talk about? And I go, yeah. And I said, on my bucket list, number 1 is I want one of your coins. He said, well, you need to do something extraordinary. And so every year that I would take everyone to Space Camp, I would contact Burke. I'd go, I'm coming to Space Camp. And he goes, I'm in the cafeteria, and I turn around and he's there. And he's a colonel, right, in the Air Force. And he goes, you called, I am here. So I have this great relationship with Burke, and he's part of the Space Camp Hall of Fame. So what no one knows, except the people who were with me, is that Burke Hare met me at the Space Symposium, and in front of his bosses, and he's put a satellite to space just recently, at the Lockheed Martin stand, he presented me with his coin.
Oh, yeah, that's just between you and me. Don't worry about anything else. You know, it's not going anywhere. It's not going very, very far. People are watching the federal election, and, you know, people have tuned out by now and all that sort of stuff.
That was
wow.
It's just amazing for Burke to do that in front of his bosses, present me with that at the Lockheed Martin stand, which is part of the reason why Robert Lightfoot and, you know, all of that. So there is a bit of a backstory.
Wow.
But that coin, 2008, I took 122 Australians to Space Camp, and I said to Burke, is that enough? He goes, no, you have to do something extraordinary. So we've had this ongoing banter, but, you know, I just feel so honoured to receive one of Burke's coins. And so that was part of our whole story of going there. And, you know, it's the whole thing about helping each other. It's not ego. It's just helping each other out.
Yeah, correct.
And so, and, you know, so that was just a really big, huge point with me, because it was number 1 on my bucket list.
Yeah.
So I brought Burke's coin back, but I also did give him some Tim Tams for his bosses.
That's a fair exchange. Good exchange.
And clip-on koalas.
Clip-on koalas. I mean, if you're going to give anybody anything, it's going to be a clip-on koala, and that's about the best thing. All right, let's have a look. Going back to the questions just briefly. So apparently, Sunita was very, very lucky to have met you, Jackie. To Lonely Interstellar. Yeah, I mean, she's very privileged to have met you. Corinna Stanley says that she actually got sent a postcard from Sian Proctor before she actually went up on the Inspiration 4 mission.
She's amazing. Her talk, honestly, I've heard people speak. She was incredible, absolutely incredible. The way her presentation, if ever you can get to hear her talk, I mean, honestly, if you've got to drive 300 kilometers and, you know, sleep somewhere with a rock and a blanket, go do it. It's just amazing.
Yeah,
and
I believe she's supposed to be coming to Australia at some point. So, yeah, I don't know where that ended up.
Yeah, well, secret thing, her brother lives here in Sydney.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, like it's just you and me. Don't worry about it. It's all good. And you know, the people who are watching, you know, they're going to keep it. They'll keep it very mum. It's all good.
Don't tell anyone.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah.
All right, so this is probably a good chance to actually segue into the next thing. So, which is the Kibo Robotics Challenge, Robotic Programming Challenge. My apologies. I see this is the third year for you running it. Can you tell us more about it, please?
Oh, Kibo, honestly, year one, like the int ball is such a cool little robot. That's that thing up in the corner with the blue eyes.
Yep.
Honestly, I want one. It's 3D printed and it's the cutest thing ever. It's like it's straight out of Star Wars, right? But it's a camera and it was invented so the astronauts can just put it anywhere and it can document as they're doing science. So they're not doing that laborious recording of stuff, right? So you have the int ball and then the other one is the Astro Bee, which is that cube-shaped robot. So what happened, and you got to remember, I am not the programming person in this household, right? So it's a bit like over the pay grade. So Jax has said, Australia, Kibo Robot Programming Challenge, we're going to do this thing. We've got these new robots. We're going to pretend there's a leak on the space station, and we're going to get kids to operate the robots to find the QR codes and then use the laser in the Astro Bee to seal the leak. Right. So the first thing is everyone was terrified that people would grab the idea and think it was real. So we have to have all these disclaimers. This is fictional, blah, blah, blah. Okay. So year one, I think we had 8 teams that were brave to sign up. It's a free program. And then on a Friday night, we run, we have a guy that is an expert in Java and programming. So he actually comes to our house and we run training from here. And he is someone that we found on Airtasker. Okay. So we just went, does anyone want to operate robots on the space station? And no one believed us except this guy thought, well, this sounds really weird, but I'm going to just check these people out. And he found out it was true. So now he's our guy. So he comes over on a Friday night and he helps the teams learn the programming and trying to overcome the hiccups in the simulators. So they do all this simulation stuff. Then they compete against each other. And then we have one team represent Australia and they battle it out with all the other countries on board in real time on the space station.
So when does this all due to get started?
Right now,
right now, right.
6th of June.
Yep.
Is the last registrations for Australian teams. It's free.
Yep.
You can go on the JAXA website, or we actually have a website, kiboaustralia.com.au. Have a look. What you've got there, that orange logo is the newest one. That's the 3rd one.
Yep.
Last year we had 15 teams.
Yep.
And the team that represented Australia was a batch of kids from Sydney, the youngest being an 11-year-old girl from Artarmon Public School. And they were up against all the university teams from Thailand and wherever else.
Yep.
And they got a really huge recognition from the astronauts and everything for their persistence in trying to solve finding the leak and then trying to seal it up. So this year we have teams and everyone. Right now we still have openings for teams. You don't have to all be from one school or one university, so it is open to university students as well. It could be a fun activity that people might want to do. It's all virtual. You don't have to you might want to get together face to face at someone's house or whatever. Yep. But all the training's virtual. And then the cool thing is you get a 5-hour link up with the space station. So you get to chat with the astronauts while they repower up the robots. Look at your face. Come on.
Wow, no. Well, yeah. Well, this is. I knew this was going to be a jaw-dropping live episode, and so it's just like it just has.
Chris Cassidy was the first one. When we did Kibo, the first one, and he was just chatting away, asking questions as he's refueling things up and going, oh yeah, blah 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 blah, and just hanging out. And 5 hours. So they go into loss. So you go make a cup of tea, come back, eat some lollies, 2:00 in the morning, whatever it takes to stay awake. And so it's a 5-hour, it turned into a 5-hour live feed.
Wow.
In real time. So
that's amazing.
What's amazing is the kids are programming these things and they're hurtling around the earth every 90 minutes.
Yeah, exactly.
It's just really like, it does your head in if you really think about it too hard.
Yeah, I try not to do that when I talk to you about some of the stuff you propose and what the
Yeah,
kids
so
actually do. It's
luckily
like, yeah,
Bob-
otherwise I'll do head hurts.
Yeah, well, I just want an ink ball. I just think it would be so cool to just have one. They're 3D printed, but I don't think that Jackson would give me the design, so I'll do it myself. But it's the cutest thing ever.
It is the cutest thing ever. It looks absolutely awesome, and yeah, just keep in mind that applications for that are open now. So, and if anybody wants to apply, that they, especially in Australia, they certainly can. Yes, sorry.
Gosh, any country.
Any country
right?
can go for it. Yeah, but the connection for Australia is to actually go and do it from you guys. But yes, it's for any country right around the world. It's not.
Yeah. So if people are listening that want to sign up and they're not from Australia, go to the JAXA Kibo RPC website and have a look at the regulations and rules around that, because there can be some people who are thinking, oh, I'm from this country and I don't have this opportunity. Well, I bet you that you do, because they're building worldwide teams as well. So just fill in the thing. JAXA would be more than happy to try and sort a worldwide team out. We have teams from countries waiting for other people to sign in to say we want to join and make a team. So it's a bit like Connecting Minds project, but it's robotics. But this time it's like representing a country to battle it out against other countries. So
just to let you know, the audience so far, I do know most of them have contacted me directly, and the people who are commenting at the moment, we've got Jim, who's from Scotland, Corinna, I believe, who's in Perth, and Lonely Interstellar, which is Eritrea, and he's in India. So there you go. It's a bit of a
Perth, Australia, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but what? Well, yeah, sometimes the West will just live anyway.
Let's not go there.
All right, let's not go there. So I've kept the questions up for the moment, just because. Where are we? Oh yeah, they're just saying everyone's commenting on the fact that they've all signed an NDA, so your secrets are safe. If you can believe them. And also at the same time, I have my fingers crossed underneath the table. So, you know. So that's probably a good segue for us to go into the next part, or the next portion, which is the International Spacecraft Exploration Challenge, which you can see there. So that's up. So, I mean, apart from the obvious question of, when do you sleep? Because it doesn't seem like you do that very much at the moment. So it's coming up on the 4th of July, and the International Spacecraft Exploration Challenge. What is this all about?
Well, Josh, you know that Greg Chamitoff is the patron of One Giant Leap. Now, for those people who don't know who Greg is, he spent 200 days on board the space station, and he put the last nut and bolt on the outside of the space station. So effectively, Greg finished off the space station. Wow. And so what makes me laugh about Greg is he played chess against the world and was beaten by a group of Year 3 kids, but we won't don't talk about that.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Okay, yeah. So if you look up Greg, he's the most amazing person. And this is his book, right, Josh? This is his book he's just put together. Human spaceflight operations, and the lessons that we've learnt in the last 60 years. This book is that thick, and it weighs a ton.
Yeah, you can keep your door open with that on a windy day. Yeah, absolutely.
I wouldn't, because he actually signed it for me, right?
Oh, nice.
Actually signed to me.
Wow.
And Bob from Greg. And I'll just let you know what it says. You want to hear what he says?
Yeah, go on. Go for it.
It says, "Dear Jackie and Bob, with One Giant Leap, you are keeping the dream alive and inspiring so many. I am thrilled to be on this journey with you. Your support and friendship mean the world to me." Signed, Greg Chamitoff, STS 124/134 and ISS 17/18.
Wow.
Okay, so that's Greg. But this book is phenomenal for anyone who's interested in space. The AIAA have put a course together. And it's running at the moment, and it's online, but it's going to be recorded, so people will be able to access it. And when you have a look at the chapters, you will see that my friend who put the Starliner on the ISS has written a chapter.
Wow.
Right? So there's 5 flight directors who've written chapters in this book. And the course, each person who's written a chapter gives a lecture. So Can you imagine this course? 6 hours, 7 days, 3 weeks, 4 months, 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, 6 years, 7 years, 8 years, 9 years, 10 years, 11 years, 12 years, 13 years, 14 years, 15 years, 16 years, 17 years, 18 years, 19 years, 20 years, 21 years, 22 years, 23 years, 24 years, 25 years, 26 years, 27 years, 28 years, 29 years, 30 years, 31 years, 32 years, 33 years, 34 years, 35 years, 36 years, 37 years, 38 years, 39 years, 40 years, 41 years, 42 years, 43 years, 44 years, 45 years, 46 years, 47 years, 48 years, 49 years, 50 years, 51 years, 52 years, 53 years, 54 years, 55 years, 56 years, where you've got 5 flight directors talking about the lessons they've learned in 60 years of space flight. Just the flight directors, let alone all the other people who are listed in this.
Yeah, correct.
So this is phenomenal. Highly recommend it for anyone who is interested in a career in space. No one's ever put anything together like this, and it took Greg 6 years, I think, to put it together.
Wow.
And all the people in it have all written the chapters for him. So you've got world experts in these fields writing this book. It's an amazing book. And so Greg does a lot of stuff with education, and he actually put together the Space Teams program. So he has done he built the software out of his Astro lab at Texas A&M. And I said to him, right, it's time to make this happen. So last year we did the first ever virtual space mission, and it was based here in Australia, and it's 6 days, 6 hours a day. And every day the kids meet an astronaut or an expert from their field. So a planetary scientist teaches them all about planets. And then they build their own planet in the software. And then the next day they build a spaceship. So they learn from someone who's a person who constructs rockets, how that all works. And then they have to fly their spaceship. So then I think it was Greg Box Johnson, who's now, I think he's a test pilot for Lockheed Martin, but he's also a space shuttle pilot. So he comes online and talks to the kids for an hour about flying spaceships, right? So can you imagine these kids every single day get a 1 hour lecture from a leading expert in the field at their level so they understand it. And we have Microsoft and Amazon mentors online for the kids. So they form teams of 4. And they build their own planet. They build their own spaceship. They fly their spaceship to their planet, and then they build a sustainable colony on their planet, and then they traverse the planet to get resources to survive. It's a 6-day program, and it's a competition. It's all about sustainability and working together and teamwork. And so the thing is, One Giant Leap do all the merch.
Oh, wow. Space Teams merch. Yep.
So it's the Space Teams merch. Just to make you a bit, don't you wish you had one stuff?
Oh, yeah, you can send me stuff along with the book.
So these are prizes for the kids, and we have shirts. We make up, we have a shirt, so any kid that enters the competition will get a hat, we get badges, all the merch comes out of One Giant Leap, and certificates and everything. It's a huge deal. It's 6 hours a day, and it's just done, it can be done at home. So the July 3 to 8 is America, but Australia is 4th of July. Can you believe it? I've convinced him to do 4th of July. Wow. 4th of July to the 9th of July. And so last year we had Australia, Egypt, and America students, hundreds of them involved. And this year I've helped 130 kids get grants so that we have kids from all over the place being able to do it for because we've helped the schools get grants. So we have a school that's opening up its computer lab to 30 kids to do it.
Wow.
And they're a school that did it last year. They just love it. And so really the only issue around it is it doesn't work on Macs. So there's computer requirements, but it can all be found online. Registrations are open now. It doesn't matter what part of the world you're in. And I just recommend it for interested kids who may be 10, 11 years old who are really into space and older. And they can form teams, be at someone's house for the holidays, just all, do sleepovers. And what I do know, even though you try to shut it down at 3 o'clock, the kids are still back online after dinner trying to get spaceships built. And the most hilarious thing was, I won't name the company, but either Microsoft or Amazon, one of their mentors was really struggling with landing their spacecraft. So they kept emailing Greg trying to get hints on how to get the highest score, and it was driving them crazy. They were at it for 2 days. So it's a bit like that. It's all built on NASA and NASA JPL databases. It's not like other programs. This is, for example, if the kids land on the planet and they decide they need to build a water tank and they go, I'm going to build a water tank, the software will tell them, but you didn't bring the resources to build a water tank. So they can go back into the software and pack the water tank into their spaceship through the skin of it. And then it says, well, we can't take off because we're too heavy, so we need more fuel. And so all of that goes into the leaderboard to make sure that the kids are doing sustainable space stuff. So it's not fictitious, just make it up stuff. It actually is all relevant. And Greg's got a massive team of uni students and other people who work on this through the year. So we're very excited about doing this, but we've also put Mission Oz, which is in Science Week. So if anyone's interested in Australia in signing up teams for Science Week, it's all up there ready for registration. And if anyone wants to know any more about it, just go to the space-teams.com website or just contact me and I'll let you know what you need to know.
Yeah, and
again, but yeah, it's great fun. Really great fun.
Yeah, and all of Jackie's details are in the comments section below. So if anybody wants to contact Jackie directly in regard to that one, all of the contact details are placed there. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to go to we're going to get into the space chats, which features someone who is going to be a Virgin Galactic astronaut. So I just want to play a video on that one, which will allow you for a couple of seconds to take a break.
Hi, my name is Ron Rosano. I'm a future astronaut with Virgin Galactic and will be flying into space with them sometime in the next few years. Ahead of that, I'm working with One Giant Leap Australia to organize video conferences, what we call space chats, with students at different schools all around Australia. So I'd encourage you to be in touch with One Giant Leap and sign up for one of our space chats. We'll have Virgin Galactic staff, me, and other future astronauts ready to have Q&A sessions with students and share the excitement of this new era of commercial space travel. Thanks.
I'll give you this, Jackie. You certainly know like your promo videos.
I'm a really good media guy, right?
Yeah, it's pretty good. So what's the space chats all about? What is that exactly?
It's Virgin Galactic do space chat. So I met Luke Hepworth. I don't know if you know Luke. I met Luke at the Powerhouse Museum, I don't know how many years ago, probably 2014, when I met Enrico. And Luke Hepworth is actually a Virgin Galactic customer. But Luke is based here and he raises money for this children's hospital. So right now, if you look up Luke Hepworth, you can donate because he's climbing Mount Everest.
Oh,
right.
Yeah,
so right now, he fully trains for these things. He actually did 7 marathons in 7 days on 7 continents and raised, I think, $100,000 for the Children's Hospital. So look up Luke Hepworth. He's an amazing, amazing person. And he's one of my friends. So he goes, oh, have you met Ron? I'm going, Ron? Yeah, Ron's a Virgin Galactic customer. I went, okay. So I go, Shannon, can you talk to Ron? Because Shannon's our in-person people. Yep. She goes, oh, I know Ron. I went, how do you know Ron? So her and Ron have known each other forever. So then Ron goes, oh, let's chat to some kids in schools. I said, okay, let's put that together. So on last Friday, we had Ron Rosano talking as well as Vivian Cornish, and they're both Virgin Galactic customers. So they both have tickets to go to space with on Branson spaceships. And so it's just different because it's a different kind of thing for the kids to aspire to, because some kids might just want to do that whole tourism to space thing and not want to do the whole, train to go into white suit stuff. They just might want to aspire to go to space and come back. Yeah. So Ron put a group together. We had Liam Powers, who's an avionics expert for Virgin Galactic, and Carlos Rosas, who was a rocket, does the rocket construction. And it kind of came about because I met Enrico in 2014, and then he was the president of the spaceship company in the Mojave, building spaceships, right? And so I kept saying to Enrico, let's catch up with each other. So I figured if I was in America and I had tour group, right, that maybe Enrico could come and have coffee or something. And then every time that would happen, he'd be in Australia. because he's Australian. So then it was just like ships passing in the night. It was driving me crazy. And then one time I was over there, he goes, my diary's free, Monday, 9 o'clock, can you make it? So we cancelled everything and drove to the Mojave, and I went to see Enrico at the spaceship company, and we spent some great times together. I took some Vegemite for his staff room, and I obviously Tim Tams, but I also took Jaffas and all this other stuff, and had a great time. And he showed us all around, and I said to him, I would love to bring my next tour group here. And he goes, let's make it happen. So that's how come on the One Giant Leap website, the One Giant Leap Australia website, you see a group of people in front of.
Yeah, I was wondering about that. Yeah. The Virgin Galactic spacecraft. It was.
We were the first ever public tour group.
Wow.
Ever allowed in. And we were Aussies. So 66 of us lobbed in, eating pizza, sitting at tables.
Oh, like you do. We're Aussies.
It was just crazy. Like all the kids had gotten off the plane, and we just got some buses, and we, we had parents and teachers and everything, and 10-year-old kids. So we went to the Mojave. They had a bit of a nap on the way. We stopped for breakfast, and then sitting there in front of Eve and White Knight too, and having a bit of a chatty. And we could only use photos that we were given, but there was plenty of other stuff going. Like we just couldn't take pictures,
because of the ITAR restrictions and stuff like that. Yeah,
but
absolutely.
It was great. Like we got these great pictures of us all jumping up and down in front of Virgin Galactic hangar, and it was brilliant, absolutely brilliant. And I said to the kids, you're not going to understand this, but in a couple of years' time, you'll get it. And then they've just gone, oh my God, So then from that, the Virgin Galactic thing, so I think it's the first time ever they've done a big foray. I think we had about 400 kids online, and they're online for an hour and a half. And the kids were just answering questions, asking questions, and Ron and Vivian and Liam and Carlos were just answering, and it was just great. It just was this really informal, chitty-chatty stuff. And we had more than, I think it was 60 kids from Aurora College, which is the virtual school for the New South Wales Education Department. We had them online, Year 6 kids, being able to ask questions of these people. Real people, kids get to realise that they are people who have got an ambition to do something, and they've worked really hard to get there. And so, it was a lot of fun, and we'll do more of those. There's,
of course.
We do lots of teleconferencing for free into schools. I'm about to line up an Artemis one. We put Heather Paul online. She's an Artemis engineer. We had 2,500 kids around Australia online for that. What's wrong, Josh?
Oh, nothing. I just wish I was a kid again. It's like, oh my God. Is there anything you haven't done, Jackie, at this point? I mean, honestly,
there's plenty I haven't done yet.
Oh, plenty you haven't done yet.
Yeah, Josh, you really want to get upset? You want to see what my wedding present was from Greg Chamitoff?
Yeah, go on.
Okay.
No, off,
Okay.
off. No, off. It's signed and everything. Oh God.
It's signed by 20 astronauts and a flight director.
Oh no!
Okay,
I've just ruined my microphone position. So well done. So trying to be dramatic.
So there you go.
Overly dramatic. Hang on, I'm going to lose my microphone.
You're right.
Yeah, I'm fine.
They just arrived in a box before Bob and I got married, and I wasn't expecting it, and I was just in a state of shock. Yeah, so that's
unreal.
His bedroom here. Unreal. So but I don't know. There's plenty I haven't done. And
it's not sounding like you're missing very much at this point. Let's just say that, and we've got to move this all along before I lose my entire audience. But anyway, what's this thing about RMIT? I've got a video of RMIT. Can I play the video of RMIT?
Yeah, and you'll hear Greg Chamitoff talk. There you go.
Right. Okay. Well, we better get into that then and hear Greg Chamitoff talk. Just give me a sec.
Houston, Space Station. Houston, Space Station.
Hello. I'm astronaut Greg Chamitoff, and I would like to take you on a week-long mission in space. see you up here.
Well, was a little bit uncoordinated by me. I should have played that one earlier.
Yeah, we could have.
Oh
That's
well.
okay.
Oh well. Yeah. So all right. This is possibly a good segue into the RMIT ISEC scholarships. What is RMIT doing to support the International Spacecraft Exploration Challenge?
So RMIT heard about this program, the International Spacecraft Exploration Challenge, and they said, could you come to RMIT and run a lab, and we will sponsor 12 students to attend the lab every day for 6 days and do the Space Teams Challenge. And I said, sure, we'll do that. So One Giant Leap is heading down to RMIT, and we'll be there running the lab at RMIT, and we're going to have 12 Year 7 and 8 kids being selected to do the program fully funded from RMIT. And Brian Fowles and Milikus and Gail are all in massive support of that. And so is Greg. So those students are going to get a private teleconference with Greg as part of being selected. And so Greg will spend an hour or so chatting with them about his experiences and stuff. But the exciting thing is it started last night at midnight. We opened up applications. All that has to happen is they have to be in Year 7 and 8 and be able to go to RMIT every day and attend. It's up to them to get there. And then we'll be there 6 hours a day for 6 days, and we'll have university team leaders for the kids to have a team mentor, and all funded by RMIT.
Wow.
So
you've got some heavy hitters finally coming to the table. That sounds fantastic.
Yeah. Oh, look, RMIT, great. But what's so cool about it is it means there are kids whose parents, for any kind of reason over COVID, there could be financial pressures, and there could be kids who have dreams. Well, like I said right at the beginning, One Giant Leap is about providing opportunities to kids.
Yep.
And the cool thing is, if they are in Melbourne, or they want to, their parents are prepared to base themselves in Melbourne over that time, more than happy. And all they need to do is just apply. Once they apply, they'll get a link to a video upload, and they just upload a video, maximum 2 minutes, of why they should be chosen to represent RMIT. It's very simple, just a mobile phone chitty chat thing. It doesn't have to be some, Star Wars epic production.
Yep.
It can be if they want it to be, but it's more about what they're going to say on that couple of minute video. So
don't challenge some people. I know some people who would just be going, "Yeah, but I want it to be a Star
Wars.
Awesome. Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Yeah,
that'd be awesome. Yeah. And this will actually bring us into our last part, which is the I'm going to say this wrong. I've been dreading this moment for the entire video, which is the Tulsi Project, the Tulsi Project. I've got it wrong. I know I've got it wrong. I'm sorry. So what's this is rounding it out. What's this about? This is the last thing we've got to talk about, guys. So everybody who's hanging out online, thank you very much for doing so. So yes, this is the last part. What's this about, Jackie?
This is an extension of the SEEDS program that we're working with JAXA on. Yes. Right?
Yes.
So JAXA approached me and said, Australia, you are leading us in this thing because of the Wattle, because you do know there's probably 180,000 kids involved in the Wattle program at this point in time, right? So they've gone, Australia, you are leading us in this. And I'm thinking, am I? And they said, we would like you to do a bigger thing. And so I had this idea about, we have all these different space agencies on our teleconference every month, like Thailand, Malaysia, Singapore, New Zealand, like all the Asia Pacific, but we're doing individual things. And I've always said, why don't we use this collaboration to actually collaborate with kids? So I've created this thing called the Tulsi Project, and Tulsi is holy basil. And it's very culturally important to many Asian communities, right?
Yeah, it is too. So, now I gotcha. Right.
Yeah, so the holy basil was grown on board the space station at the same time they did sweet basil. So we have measurements of stuff on the space station with holy basil. And that was done through the Malaysian Space Agency. So what I said was, no one has any budget. Everyone's got hardly any time. So why don't we get whoever wants to, get 6 teams of the maximum 10 kids, so 60 kids together. And what I'll do is I'll get your 6 teams matched up with 6 teams from 6 different other countries. So Australia, we will have 6 teams.
Yep.
And then I'll have them linked up with maybe Nepal, Bangladesh, Thailand, Singapore. So each little team is linked with a different country. It's a bit like the Connecting Minds project, except they're going to be growing holy basil.
Wow.
And we're not going to be supplying the seeds because it's too difficult. So everyone will just buy the same holy basil seeds and grow it because we don't have budget.
Yep.
But more than that, it's too difficult to get it. You just can't go, and this is really important, you can't just go randomly planting stuff around the planet, the same as you can't just randomly go planting it around the universe, right? If you can imagine, mint just takes off and goes berserk. Imagine putting that on the moon. We wouldn't have a moon, we'd have a green blob after a while. So, and the same with, and I really want to say, I did say about us being a grain exporter. The other thing is we work really, really closely with the Department of Agriculture. So where we're growing the wattle are places that are allowed to grow it, and it's in regulations and policies and laws of that country that they can. We don't just send the seeds off in an envelope and go off your trot, because that's not how it works, and it's not how it should work. So when we took the seeds to Dubai and we're taking seeds to California, we know they're allowed to grow wattle there. We've checked it out. The same with the holy basil.
Okay.
So we're going to get them to buy it there. So each agency will choose 6, and then I'm just going to randomly throw all the names into a hat and just pull it all out. And then we're going to showcase this at the Asia Pacific Space Forum. So it's a low budget thing, it costs nothing, because we have a few little greenhouses left over from the wattle program. So we're quite prepared to put all that together. We're just looking for six teams from our country. So far no one's applied yet because no one knows about it because it's brand new. I told you, hot off the press.
And this is hot off the press if no one knows about it.
The RMIT thing's hot off the press from midnight last night.
Nice.
And the Tulsi Project went live on Friday.
Oh, wow. Thank you. Well, thank you very much for sharing that with me and for
I told you it was
Space
good
Down
to
Under
defer
audience.
to election.
And that's much better than watching the election, because I've managed to actually take up quite a bit of people's time. So, and that's the thing, is that the seeds going to space, all that sort of stuff. In terms of what that meant for for kids in schools and all that sort of stuff. What I've got here is I've got a final little video which is actually by Alex Forbes of Bondi Public School in New South Wales. And what he did was he actually was so inspired by what he saw and the wattle seeds going to space. He put together this little video. So I'm just going to play it for you right now.
6 months ago, a rocket was launched into space carrying our wattle seeds. The launch was a complete success. It hurtled through space to deliver our seeds to the International Space Station, where they've been sitting, cared for by the astronauts, living on the space station for these 6 months. Last week, a new mission was launched. This is Dragon. Dragon was launched to collect our seeds from the International Space Station and bring them back down to Earth. It got in sight of the space station as it slowly approached. Dragon had to maneuver carefully to dock with the space station. You can see them aiming to make sure it connects perfectly. And it did. Over the course of the next day or two, the astronauts loaded our seeds back into Dragon, and all of the incredible hardworking scientists at NASA tracked the detaching and the slow re-entry back towards Earth, carrying our seeds. You can see Dragon hurtling across the sky. This is looking from the space station back towards Earth as Dragon brings our seeds back to us. On Thursday, the 8th of July, Dragon could be seen glowing in the upper atmosphere as it hurtled back to our planet, landing for a dramatic splashdown in the Atlantic Ocean off the coast of Florida. After a long and wild journey, our seeds have come back home.
Okay, a little bit uncoordinated there, I was, but yes, look, and that's the sort of stuff I live for out of all of this. Is it's actually inspiring other people to to make videos. I mean, look, the production quality was not great, but it was fantastic the way he got passionate about it and decided to actually do something like that. And the fact that you do that for everybody, Jackie, is just beyond me. It's just you're inspiring kids all over the place. So look, I just want to give everybody a final last minute effort. If anybody online wants to ask Jackie any more questions, just before we wrap it up, that there might be the time to actually post your questions now. But yeah, Jackie, so apart from all these things that are coming up, I mean, and here's while we wait see if there's any questions coming in, do you actually sleep, or is it just
yeah,
I mean, honestly, you've just, I mean, sleep is overrated.
4 o'clock in the morning yesterday. Was it yesterday? Yeah, yesterday. I got a message to say that I'd been successful in applying to go to San Diego Zoo to do a conservation 3-day workshop, and they're funding me to fly there.
Wow.
So we're doing that with a view to potentially get some funding to take teachers over next year. Because if you think about it, habitat's really important. Habitat, we need to understand habitat, right?
Yeah.
So if we know how to conserve and look at our animals and our habitat, we can transfer that knowledge to space, right?
Yep.
So the kids from Richmond North, when they did Connecting Minds, they were concerned about taking cows, chickens, pet dogs, because mental health, all of those things all wrap into stuff. So Bob and I have been talking for a fair bit of time now about bees in space. How are we going to pollinate things so that we get fruit? How do bees actually navigate? Should we send rogue bees, Australian stingless bees? Because what if an astronaut's anaphylactic and they get a bee sting, like blow up in the white suit? All of those things. So that was like 4 o'clock yesterday morning. I found out that I was heading back to the States. So then it was like this mad flurry about who are we going to go and visit while we're there. And then there's
I
also
swear you don't sleep. You don't sleep at all.
There's also discussions of us going to the Farnborough Air Show as part of the Australian contingent. So there's a lot happening. But you know what? I wouldn't have it any other way. It brings me to tears when I have kids. There's a boy that I helped in 2008, and he was a great kid, always helping me, and his family didn't have a lot of financial backing, and I got him funded to go to space camp through some friends. Wow. And he wrote to me and he said, I thought I'd get you up to date. It's been 10 years since you took me to space camp, right? And he is now working for the Crown Prosecutor's Office, and he got 99 point whatever for the HSC. And I could have sworn blind he would have probably gotten 65%. Yep. But he said the trip away with me was his turning point. And then he wants to meet me to give me some funds to pay for another kid to go to space camp because it made such a difference to him. And he's 22.
Yeah.
This kid. And that's why we do what we do. It's about trying to provide as many of these opportunities as we can. Correct. To as many kids as we can. Yep. But also parents, for parents to understand that there's a massive future in the new space industry for their children. So I get tired sometimes, but most of the time I wake up with a big smile on my face and think, what am I doing today? And what crazy things am I going to get up to? And you just have to be brave and try it.
Yeah, correct.
Okay.
Exactly that. You just have to be brave and try it. We've actually got a question that's come in from Corinna Stanley. So thank you for Corinna for sticking out this far. Congratulations. Thank you that you didn't actually turn over to the Australian federal election results. So yay me. Yeah. So Corinna has actually said, is the Australian government speaking of governments, anyway, is the Australian government actually giving you any help in your goals? So
we are supported by the Australian Space Agency.
Oh, nice.
Our relationship with JAXA, we have all these different programs because we are actually the Australian point of contact for all of these things, endorsed by the Space Agency. So this isn't like Space Agency, we have a letter to say, that we are the Kibo RPC, people for Australia, and all of those things. And these opportunities give us credibility. And we're also financially supported, and we get support from various different places. DJI, I know this is really weird. The drone company have supported us, so wow. We actually teach girls how to fly drones and stuff. So we have all their drones, their latest FPV drone and that kind of thing. Because we teach skill sets of for the kids of the future, remote operation.
If you happen to end up with a spare, you could, you know where I live.
Actually, you know what I did? I went and got my drone license so I can stand in front of kids.
Oh no!
That was years ago. I've had my drone license for a number of years.
No.
And I've helped kids. I've helped kids get their drone license when they're 16 by getting grants for them and things. And because they can earn money flying through real estate,
that's true.
Stuff. So it's a new casual job opportunity, and it's their own company, right? So we are supported, and we are getting more and more support as people realise workforce is the big thing. It's the one thing everyone was talking about in Colorado, because everyone's cannibalising their other people's people because there's not enough. And the sad thing about that is we've been raving on about it since 2006. And if we could get going what we want to get going in Australia, we wouldn't have had this issue.
Yeah, correct.
Correct. But everyone's starting to catch up with us now. And I really, really cherish the relationships that we have with the major aerospace companies and with the Australian Space Agency. And the other people who support us, and people like you, Josh, who help us get the word out.
Well, that's the thing is the horrible thing for you is knowing me and me doing the Space Down Under is that I am going to be banging on about this forever because that's what I do. I just I keep going until someone actually hears me, and I've got some really dedicated followers who do follow me, and I appreciate every single one of them and that sort of stuff. Just one last comment here I think has come on in the chat. I just wanted to read it out from Jim Cleland. He's in Scotland. So a great emphasis on the importance of ecology regarding planting seeds. It's important to the balance of ecology, or as Jackie said, we could end up with a green blob. Yeah, he's right. We need to understand the importance of the ecology, especially when we start to traverse our own backyard, and by that I mean our solar system. And then, heaven forbid, if we ever go interstellar at some point, then that'll become really, 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 really important.
Right. It is a concern because I am worried that people will just start randomly sending each other seeds to grow stuff. You know what I mean? Yeah. And someone did send me some seeds, and I was instructed to burn them because they carry a disease for tomato blemish or something, which can wipe out our tomato crops here.
Yeah, our biosecurity rules are really, really strict in this country. Just for Jackie and I know, but for anybody who's watching from overseas, like Jim or Lonely Interstellar or Ritra or anybody else who's tuning into this, Australia's biosecurity laws are actually some of the strongest in the world. Which is how we've actually managed to bypass a lot of the most of the global infections and viruses and things that come around, except for the ones that infect humans. We're all over those. We get them.
The person in Perth might know this, but other people might not, that for us to send wattle seeds to schools in Western Australia, they had to have an extra inspection on the border to WA. even though we're the same country.
Yeah.
And they've been inspected by our authorities here, then by JAXA, then by NASA, then by SpaceX, then all the way back again, like the same thing, and then another inspection to WA. You know, and people ask us, like, how much did it cost to do this? I can tell you it cost $16.59.
I love Australia, don't you?
That was from Canberra to Sydney. That
Yeah,
was the
yeah.
price, right? So anyway, but anyway, that's a different story. And I'm really glad we have people online. If anyone wants to ask me anything, please just feel
Yeah.
free.
Yeah,
Contact.
so basically, it just if anybody wants to contact Jackie, I've left all the details in the description below.
Yeah.
So look, I just want to take this opportunity, Jackie, to thank you very much for joining me on the Space Down Under. I know that you could have actually, you know, I really appreciate it, because I know the alternative for this evening's viewing, which is either streaming something on one of the streaming services that we have, or watching the Australian federal election, one of the two, outcome and results. So yeah, look, I really appreciate it. And you know, if anybody wants any more info about One Giant Leap Australia, or the foundation, I've placed links to everything in the description below. So thanks again, Jackie, for joining me again for the Space Down Under. I really do appreciate it. Can you hear me? Can anyone hear me? Why are you still here? Now you can hear me. But why don't you go and watch the results of the Australian federal election? Why don't you go and stream something? Why are you still sitting around? You know, you're watching me and I'm watching. No, that's right. Look, you may have noticed, for those of you who've stuck around, you know, thanks very much for sticking around this far. So you may have noticed that my YouTube channel has changed, and now on my social media I seem to be missing a logo. So that's actually an accident at all. I did that on purpose because very soon I'm actually going to be running a competition, and the competition will all be. Hang on, I'm muted. Am I still muted? Hang on, just let me have a look. No, I shouldn't be muted. I should be coming through nice and clear with any luck. And so, yeah, you may have noticed that I don't have a logo, which wasn't done on accident. And I did it on purpose because I will actually be running a competition very soon, asking you to create me a logo. So yeah, this is your chance. So get your pens and paper and pencil ready, or if you're more modern, get started with your iPad or anything else that you currently have. And please get ready to actually create me a logo. I'm going to need one. I'm going to need one completely. It will feature on all of my merchandise. It will feature on the Space Down Under. It will feature on on the YouTube channel, and also feature on social media. So get prepared. In the next few days, I'll be launching a competition to design me a logo. And yes, it will be featured on t-shirts and other particular merchandise. This is the old stuff, so I'm wearing the old stuff here. So yeah, if you want to, please get ready. Watch out. There is going to be a little bit more. I'll talk to you all soon.